It's hard. It's like co-parenting. It's really hard, and like,
you're not co-parenting with just anyone.
Yeah.
So, the internet is in complete chaos right now because new footage of Kanye West and Jeffree Star just dropped, and it's not the kind of clip you can wave off as coincidence. This isn't some fan-edited fantasy or a viral joke. It's legit, and people are shook. What's making it even worse is that Jeffree has officially come forward and confirmed that yes, something did happen between him and Kanye. And now that there's visual proof and a confession, this scandal has gone from whispered rumor to undeniable reality.
So Jeffree Star did sleep with Kanye West? Let's talk about that and more involving the very popular and problematic
Back in 2021, people were already raising eyebrows about Kanye and Jeffree. The whole thing started on TikTok and seemed like just another internet stunt. Jeffree kind of played into it but never gave a clear yes or no, so everyone just moved on.
Yes, allegedly, Jeffree Star has been sleeping with Kanye West, and that's why they're getting a divorce. Goodbye.
Fast forward to now, and we're looking at an entirely different situation. The clip making rounds online shows the two of them in Wyoming, and are looking way too familiar. We're talking serious eye contact, leaning in close, a kind of intimacy that screams there's history here. It's not giving random run-in, it's giving secret rendezvous. And let's not forget, this all allegedly took place while Kanye was still very much married to Kim Kardashian. That alone has people looking back at certain moments in their marriage with fresh eyes. One in particular is that infamous photo of Kim crying in the car beside Kanye. At the time, no one really knew what set her off, it just seemed like a rough moment. But now fans are convinced that might have been the exact moment she found out what was really going on. The heartbreak in her face, the tension in the air, it all lines up a little too well now. Jeffree's confession adds a whole new layer to this drama. Unlike before, where he kept things vague, this time he straight up admitted the rumors were true. No dodging, no cryptic messages, just a direct acknowledgement. And when you match that with the way Kanye's been acting lately, it's hard not to see a pattern. He's been spiraling for a while now, from his controversial outfits to shocking music lyrics, and even admitting to inappropriate encounters within his own family. The chaos seems to keep unfolding, and this revelation with Jeffree is just the latest piece in a much bigger mess.
Okay.
It's not okay.
But here's where it starts getting even messier. People are now digging through old interviews, photos, and behind-the-scenes stories, trying to figure out if this was an isolated incident or part of a longer pattern. Some are bringing up Kanye's close connection to Virgil Abloh and questioning whether that relationship may have also had a deeper element. Others are pointing out how Kanye has stood by Diddy through his scandals and wondering if there's a reason behind that loyalty that hasn't been made public yet.
Sucks, when someone doesn't see how different they are. You'll always, hope that you'll see a glimpse of them. And, I hope.
And just when you think things couldn't get more wild, Azealia Banks enters the chat. Love her or hate her, she has a long track record of exposing things before the mainstream catches on. A while back, she hinted that Kanye was living a double life and even claimed that he and Virgil were more than just creative partners. She then dropped an even more outrageous claim that Kanye and Elon Musk were once involved while under the influence. Of course, it sounds insane, but considering what's been coming to light lately, people are starting to question if these so-called crazy stories actually hold more truth than anyone realized. You know those infamous party tapes that everyone whispers about but no one ever dares to confirm? Yeah, those. Well, Azealia Banks is now throwing gasoline on the fire by not just hinting at them, but practically naming names and calling people out. And the list she rattled off is straight up surreal. From Jay-Z and Trump to Travis Scott, Drake, and more. The scenarios she described don't even sound like Hollywood gossip anymore. They read like scenes from a twisted, chaotic movie you can't believe is based on real people. The real jaw-dropper, though, isn't just the wild name drops. It's what Azealia is actually implying about Kanye West and his private life. She flat out said Kanye and the late designer Virgil Abloh weren't just friends, they were lovers. Then she tossed in a claim that Elon Musk allegedly received oral from Kanye while he was high on ketamine. And that's not even the end of it. According to her, Kanye's on one of Diddy's infamous party tapes, the same kind of tapes that have sparked dark rumors for years. She described reactions from other celebrities that were as bizarre as they were disturbing. Chaz allegedly brushing it off with a no homo, Trump doing the same, and Drake reportedly declining entirely. She even claimed Kim Kardashian tried to go along with it but ended up vomiting and crying, and Kris, assumed to be Kris Jenner, supposedly shouted, "Cut!" Like, what? Now, Azalea's always been a bit of a wild card. People either think she's unhinged or brutally honest. But the way she's listing these names, painting vivid scenes, and tying Kanye into it all, it's got people thinking twice, especially because rumors about Kanye's sexuality and kinks have been floating around for years. At first, it seemed like just jokes. People assumed he was simply into unconventional stuff. But Azalea is painting a much darker and more personal picture, one that suggests these aren't just wild bedroom habits but part of a deeper, messier truth about who Kanye really is and what he's been through. And just when everyone thought it couldn't get worse, Kanye dropped a song that made the internet stop cold. In a track reportedly titled Cousins, he talks about a disturbing memory involving oral sex with his own cousin. Depending on who you ask, it happened when Kanye was as young as 7 or maybe around 14. Either way, it's horrifying, not only because of how young he was, but because it involved a relative. And not just any relative, a younger cousin. This confession, delivered so casually through lyrics, has left fans rattled. It's not edgy, it's not groundbreaking, it's disturbing, and even Kanye's most loyal supporters are struggling to defend it. Many are saying this isn't art, this is unresolved trauma spilling out in real time. To make things even more complicated, Kanye later posted a message trying to clarify the meaning behind the song. He talked about how he and his cousin were exposed to inappropriate magazines when they were kids, first from his dad's Playboy stash, then from something even darker hidden in his mum's closet. He claimed this exposure led to them acting out what they saw. He also mentioned that this same cousin later ended up in prison for killing a pregnant woman, and that he sometimes wonders if their childhood experiences played a part in how things unraveled. In that same post, he wrote, "My name is Yi and I sucked my cousin till I was 14. That line alone sparked a storm of memes, gifs, and online mockery because sadly, nothing is sacred on the internet anymore. Instead of serious conversations, people turned it into a punchline. One meme even joked about Kanye leaving his cousin's house, completely missing the weight of what he was trying to express. And that's what makes Azalea's claims feel less far-fetched now. With Kanye openly saying these things in his music, suddenly her stories don't sound so impossible anymore. Her wild takes are no longer just tabloid fuel, they're starting to feel like pieces of a much darker puzzle that Kanye himself is slowly putting on display. The deeper issue here is that behind all the headlines, drama, and shocking reveals, Kanye's story is starting to look more tragic than scandalous. His behavior has grown more chaotic ever since his mother, Donda, passed away. It's like the calm, focused version of him died with her, and all that's been left is this erratic, wounded version that doesn't know where to land. He spiraled publicly for years now through rants, breakdowns, and extreme outbursts. But what people don't always understand is that childhood trauma, especially when left unresolved, doesn't just fade away. If Kanye really did go through dark, inappropriate experiences as a child, whether it was being exposed to adult material too young or engaging in things he didn't fully understand, those things leave deep marks. They shape how you love, how you see yourself, and what you consider normal. So while it's easy to point fingers and mock, what we might actually be watching unfold is a man unraveling in real time, not just because of fame or ego, but because of pain he's never really faced. And now the world is seeing it messy, raw, and disturbingly real. This isn't just about Kanye being weird on the internet or dropping cryptic lyrics, this is deeper. When people say certain experiences don't just hurt you, they change you sometimes for life, they're not exaggerating. They don't just leave emotional scars, they retire the person you could have been. And that's why the current conversation surrounding Kanye West's mental and emotional state deserves more than just memes and jokes. For anyone who was ever exposed to something too adult, too traumatic, or just plain disturbing at a young age, that pain doesn't just disappear. It lingers, and if you mix that trauma with extreme fame, constant public scrutiny, and relentless pressure to perform and be relevant, that's not just a breakdown waiting to happen, it's a lifestyle built on chaos. And Kanye, he doesn't just live in chaos, he thrives in it. That's part of what makes his situation so difficult to untangle. The man's entire public image has always leaned into controversy, but lately, it's been spiraling in a way that even his most loyal fans can't explain away. The latest twist, that long-rumored connection between Kanye and influencer Jeffree Star, the one that Kanye shut down for years. Out of nowhere, Jeffree basically confirms it with a tweet that read, "Okay, F it. The rumors are true. complete with a little freaky emoji. And yeah, he didn't deny it. He just kept doing what he's been doing, dropping increasingly chaotic lyrics and content that feel less like hints and more like open admissions of an internal identity war he's no longer trying to hide. People are torn. Some believe this is all part of a larger stunt, that Kanye's building buzz for a project and using controversy as bait. Others say he doesn't even need clout. He's Kanye West, after all. But regardless of the intention, it worked. The internet lost its mind, and suddenly, everyone's dissecting Kanye's sexuality like it's the real headline. But that's not even the point. Whether he's gay, bisexual, or still figuring it out, that's not the core issue. The real story here is that behind all the headlines, he still seems like that same confused, hurting kid. The kid who never got the support or understanding he needed. Fame didn't fix that. If anything, it gave his trauma a global stage and a megaphone. Honestly, that's the tragic link between so many creative geniuses throughout history, the pain that fuels the art. But the issue is that pain untreated becomes chaos, and chaos unchecked becomes dangerous. That's how someone can be a musical visionary and still look like a walking mental health emergency. It's a painful paradox, brilliance and breakdown, hand in hand. The public reaction has been fierce. One person commented, "I don't care if he's bi or gay or whatever, it's the cheating, the wild Nazi stuff, the mental spiral. He needs serious help." Another said, "I feel awful for his kids. Imagine watching your dad fall apart like this online." And someone else wrote, "Bro needs help. It's not even funny anymore. We're literally witnessing someone fall apart in real time." And that couldn't be more true. For years, people blamed Kim Kardashian for their marriage falling apart. But now even Kim is reportedly regretting ever getting involved with him in the first place. The bond they share, those kids, means she's tied to him for life, and the chaos isn't going anywhere. But here's the kicker. It's Kanye who recently said he regrets it. In a YouTube interview with DJ Academics, he confessed that he didn't even want children with Kim, not after the first couple of months of being with her. "That was my fault," he admitted.
That was my fault. I didn't want to have children with this person after the first 2 months of being with her. But that wasn't God.
"I didn't want to have children with this person." It's heartbreaking, not just for the kids who didn't ask to be part of this mess, but for the fans who once saw Kanye as untouchable, a genius, a trailblazer, a creative god. Now, many are just watching in real time as the same man unravels piece by piece. No filter, no shame, just raw emotion, unresolved trauma, and confusion playing out in the public eye. And that's the tea, Yalel. This Kanye story just keeps getting darker, more complicated, and honestly heartbreaking. Whether you see it as a cry for help, a marketing ploy, or just another chapter in the chaos that is Ye's life, one thing's clear: this is more than gossip. It's a glimpse into the unraveling of someone who was once on top of the world. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is Kanye spiraling? Is this trauma? Or just Ye being Ye? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want more deep dives like this, because you know I'm keeping my eye on everything happening behind the scenes. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next wild drop. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay kind, and remember, not everything online is just drama sometimes. It's someone's real pain dressed up in fame.